Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Let's all be thankful that Amey is here. It is what time? 1 o'clock?
It's 1 in the morning.
1 in the morning. Amey Holden has the most commitment ever. So
probably just brought like a quarter of my brain, so maybe it's not good for anyone.
your brain on a quarter will be better than some on
honey,
a whole brain. Right, so thank you. Some of you have been to our sessions before, so thank you for coming again, but just a sort of quick recap or overview of some slight house rules. So just to make you aware, the session is being recorded, so that makes attendance not anonymous. Your names, or at least your initials, will be seen. The chat is for general chat, so if you want to say hello, like hello, you're great, Amey, thanks for staying up. Oh, that's what Jean-Paul said.
What a beautiful slide.
Thanks, JP. Yes, she's sacrificing. So chat is for chat only. If you have, someone sent their monkey assistant again. If you have any questions, please use the QA tab. So in the meeting, you'll see that there's chat and there's QA. QA is where we are going to focus and look at the questions, not the chat. So add your questions there. We'll invite you to ask in person. Amey will unmute you, or give you the ability to unmute yourself rather. So you will need to do that, and then you can ask your question in person. Specific examples are fine, but please don't share any sensitive data. Again, this is being recorded. Questions should be on the topic of customer insights, journeys, not data. We should be able to get through all of the questions. Things have definitely sort of whittled down. This is the 10th one we are doing, but we should be able to get through all your questions. And no liability is accepted by Amey and myself for how you act upon anything you hear on this call or any advice given. It's still up to you to make the right decisions for your organization and your environment. So without further ado, stop sharing. And we'll waffle for a moment until somebody asks a question.
Did you bring your waffles?
This is going to be good for Brad's monkey assistant. That
I know.
I
think we've met this guy before. Brendan. This monkey guy, Brendan.
Brendan's sent his monkey assistant before. I just find it a bit like, don't bother. You're just going to send your assistant. That's a bit rude, isn't it? But anyway.
Megan, tell me. What happens on the 30th of June?
Well, everything disappears in a puff of smoke.
We're all going to die.
Yeah. So
end of world.
Hopefully everyone. Oh, hang on. Before we. Oh, yes. Thank you, guys. We don't have to waffle. So.
But what's going to happen on the 30th of June?
So what's going to happen is a bit less dramatic maybe now than we thought. You still need to be moving. But it might not be as bad in terms of everything just stopping and standing still, because it feels like it will be a bit of a staggered approach in terms of things being switched off, removed, that kind of thing.
Yay.
Yay.
So question number 1 is
Robert Bishop.
I'm on my way. Stand by. Mic enabled. What is your question?
Hi guys. Yeah, sorry, I keep registering and I've not been able to actually attend any of the.
Well, welcome.
So I'm glad I'm actually here to ask the question.
Last chance.
So thanks a lot for all you've been doing. Yeah, so in Outbound, we had a form which had a field for country and a field for state, and then there was an option under something called field attributes that said filter by, and we could filter the state field by the country, so it only show US states. If US was selected. Is that at all possible in real time? Because I haven't figured it out.
So a dependent lookup.
Okay.
Is that basically you're talking about the ability where you could have 2 lookups and it was a dependency between the 2 lookups?
Yeah. Yep. So basically, I wouldn't want to list like every state or province in the world, like have that constrained. As soon as they've chosen US or Canada, then it only shows Canadian states or US states, for example.
So out of the box. Not yet. I don't have any timeframes. I don't have any official yes. Oh, JP's just going to say, yeah, Microsoft, there's nothing official. So NDAs, whatever, I don't have any time frames that I can share. But there is stuff that is being worked on or discussed. So it is on the roadmap, but there's nowhere where it's listed on the roadmap, if that makes sense. So let's say it's in the backlog. I've seen, Amey, you might remember, but I've seen somebody do something about cascading fields on a form, but that is for option sets, and you can definitely do stuff with that using JavaScript, but there's nothing in terms of the lookups yet.
So not yet, as well as using JavaScript on lookups is also a not yet, and they may be a set of things that would arrive in the hopeful near future.
Yes.
Okay.
How's that for elusive and conclusive?
Thanks a lot.
No problem. Arzu?
Yes, on my way. Oh, Arizo. We've done this before. We both butchered it.
Oh, sorry.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. We said your name wrong again.
Oh, no, it's okay. No problem. I just have a question about using multiple event registration for one event, because we have a strange case for our customer, and they want to have one event, but with different registration form. It means they should have a different registration form for each language, for example, for French, German, and English. But all of this customers should be in the one event. And I found one article in your website, Megan, about the Power Page and using the embedded code in the Power Page. And I thought maybe with the Power Page I can do something, but I'm not sure. And I want to be sure, is it possible, or is there any solution for that?
Deja vu, Amey? This came up this morning, didn't it?
Similar, but I've now thought about it differently.
Oh, okay.
And now I have another idea. Because
so do you want to give your idea, and then we can talk about what we talked about this morning as well?
So the second part of what we spoke about this morning is more focused on making the portal multi-language. Because that person just said they want to do multi-language event registration forms. But when you said using multiple forms for one event, my brain went off into like woo. It was really fun. Thank you. When the URL is generated for the event, you'll see that it's actually just the form URL.
Yes.
And then the parameter for the readable event ID. I have not tried it, but you could very easily grab another registration form, find the URL, append the readable event ID for the event you want to use, even though the form is not linked. I'm 92% sure that's going to create a registration on the correct event for you.
I say 92% sure.
I don't know where 92. I don't want to go with 99. It was a bit too confident. But I think that would work, and I have never thought about that until you asked that question. So thank you very much.
Because that's the whole point with the readable event ID, and like that blog post that you found is basically you're embedding the form, and it's basically passing through that value, which then determines which event you are registered for. JP, I think A, you need to start a blog post, and B, I don't have enough time to do another blog. So I think try what Amey said. If for some reason it doesn't work, then some of the things that we talked about this morning, and this really depends on if you've got a portal that you're using that's essentially a Power Pages portal or Power Pages site, whatever you want to call it. And then what you could do is, if you enable the portal for multiple languages, then you could do something when you take the parameter from the URL, because it puts in like ENUS or FRFR, depending on what the language is. So you could then do some JavaScript on the form that says, when it's FRFR in the parameter, then display the labels in French, because that's the problem, is it's the labels on the form as well. So I think try Amey's suggestion first to see if that does something, and then we'll allow you to append the readable event ID and fill it out, and does it add it in to the same event. Try that first because it might be a little bit easier. Otherwise, you might have to go down the path of enabling languages into your portal.
Yeah, but I think for the second solution, I should have it exactly for example, registration form. And in the JavaScript, when the language is changed, I should show that exactly embedded code related to the language. Yeah. Okay, I will try that. I hope it works. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for your suggestion.
So I think I know this next person, Catherine, or Kath.
On my way. Begins with a K. Allow microphone. Catherine, you're muted. Well, you can unmute.
Hi Megan. Hi Amy.
I knew it.
Yeah.
There's only one Kath.
It's very interesting to hear other people's questions actually, but I have got a couple of mine. I'm not sure whether one of them is not allowed, so I'll ask the one that I think is definitely journeys. Yeah, just some advice on editing journeys that are already running and segments that are being used in a running journey, because we could do that in Outbound. Maybe we shouldn't have done, but we could do, and definitely comms teams were used to doing that way. They would create dummy emails, then go in and edit placeholder emails and go in and edit them, and then they've realized they can't do that now. But where they really ran into trouble was where they were trying to get people to exit running journeys. So just even to add an exit trigger, or even an alternate exit. That's what it's called, isn't it? Or to edit the segment to exclude some people. So I just wondered what your advice on that was.
So I guess two different things. So in terms of like trying to go in and add an exit logic or criteria or alternative exit, whatever we want to call it. So we're basically saying someone forgot to do it when they set up the journey, and then later on was like, oh, let me go in and add it. Correct?
Yeah, or sometimes just circumstances change, I guess.
Yeah.
They should have thought about it probably, but yeah.
So Amy, I'm not 100% certain on this, but if somebody's already in the journey, do you think that the exit would then, if you added stuff into the exit criteria, well, A, would it let you do that? I'm not sure because I've never tried to do it. And B, would it only then apply that because the people are in the original version?
No, because I think the edit only applies to the new version, because each version is actually a different journey record.
So it's not going to take someone out that's already in it.
I don't think it would.
No, I didn't think so either.
I don't think you can.
So I guess I know you said circumstances changed, but if it's really bad and it's really crucial, like we should take them out, I would probably stop the journey and start a new one.
Work it out how to fudge them back in.
Yeah, and then try and figure out. It is horrible. Yeah, where we can start them in again. The thing with the segments where you can't edit a segment that's being used, that's a nasty thing. And other than, which I hate suggesting using marketing lists, but the only way you could take somebody in and out or remove and stuff is if you've got a marketing list and your segment uses the marketing list, in which case then the segment is just saying who's in the marketing list, so you could easily take people in and out. But that's not always the right answer.
I know.
It is nasty. I wish we had a magic wand, but I don't think there is one really for that.
Because if you edit the email content, as long as the dummy email is in place, that impacts the journey at the point that it hits. So you can edit a journey in a live email and the latest version gets picked up at point of sending. But if you want to change the journey configuration, add an email, remove an email, change the sequence, it only impacts the new ones unless you can stop it, restart it, and somehow do some crazy magic. I kind of hope that eventually it will become possible to do that, because I'm pretty sure when they first brought it out, you updated the journey that was running, and then they were like, oh, we got this new cool versioning thing, and everyone's like, wow, and I'm like, no, I freaking hate it.
Yep. Because it would make sense that anybody that is past a certain point, if you add new stuff in above that point where they are, it makes sense. You wouldn't push them back in again and move them on down. So maybe it was just too difficult to determine at what point and who should go where and all the rest of it. But yeah, it's not nice. But again, if it's absolutely critical that someone should come out of that journey based on your alternative exit, then honestly, the only thing you can really do is to stop it and start a new one. Your other question, I think this is, we've talked about this before, and I know you were trying to do it, Kath, and this was actually based on a blog post of Amy's, where you can see additional fields in the views. Full circle.
I know, yeah.
But this is about being able to edit segment views to be able to see extra fields when you're looking at the list of members. Yeah. So Amy's post sometimes, not that Amy's post sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. The trick sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, because it depends on the type of field and stuff like that. And it's not really insights data unless you've set up customer insights data and you're trying to push through segments. But even then, I don't know what it would do in terms of the fields and the views. I don't think it would make any difference for you, to be honest with you.
No, you still just
yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I did try that trick and it didn't work. And I just wondered if, I don't know, it was just frustrating because I can't even use advanced find, because you can't, I don't know if there's any way I could get around it that way to just be able to get those people with some extra fields. But you can't seem to, in advanced find segment members of a real-time segment. You can find your outbound segment members.
Yeah. No,
there is no actual relationship. It's just a query in a completely different language. It's not fetch XML. It makes sense from a performance and data storage point of view, but from a trying to get to your goddamn data point of view, it's not nice at all. And that's how I think I've got another post about how I built a custom page to do that. And literally it's like a segment explorer. It's a custom page. I put in there all the columns that the customer wants, added a search functionality, built my own freaking thing. It's really cool.
Okay, I'm going to look that up. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah, have a look. It was really fun to build as well, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, that's, just went full custom page. And I don't, from the vibes I'm getting based on what's going on, I don't think that's going to be resolved anytime soon. They are aware of it. It's on the list of problems for the segment builder. The list of problems the segment builder is bigger than a spoiled child's Christmas list. So
yeah, it's very slow, isn't it?
Yeah. So I don't think it's going to get solved anytime soon.
Oh well,
I'd love to be proven wrong.
Thank you so much. That was really useful anyway. So
you're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Kath. All right, so we've got Sandra next.
Sandra, sorry, I was reading a question, but forgot my job was to allow your mic so you can read it.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, I just want to say thank you so much for these sessions. I watch your recordings as well. So
you're welcome.
The first one I'm attending. Thank you. So my first question was that in our sandbox environment, so we have two, the outbound marketing module has already disappeared, but it's still available in the production environment. And I'm about to deploy an update to the app. And I was wondering, should I be worried that the outbound marketing module should disappear from production as well before 1st of July?
So I have seen that too in only some clients' environments. So in other words, not every single client that I've seen that has it installed in Sandbox, it has disappeared. I'm sure there is, that nothing technical happens without a reason. So it's not like it's just random and there's no explanation. I just don't know what it is. But I've never seen it disappear in production. So my feeling is it's probably, I am throwing this out as a hypothesis. I don't have this is the reason, but I'm wondering if it's when there's an environment where nothing with outbound has happened for X amount of time, that maybe Microsoft have started doing something and starting to hide it. But that's, again, just there has to be some reason. And the only thing I can think with Sandbox environments, it's not used as much. So maybe that is something they've started to do. I don't know, Amey, have you seen that at all?
I think I have, and in terms of the answer to the question, I would be very cautious. And because we're so close to the switch over, I've just been delaying stuff that involves that potential complication. So it's like, if I deploy this, you might lose it. So we're not going to do this deployment until you're ready to say goodbye. Again, you could always just redeploy, and put it back on.
Oh, well, hang on. I guess, are you saying deployment as in you're about to deploy a custom solution that you've done, or you're about to press the button to do the monthly update?
A custom solution.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So the other thing that I noticed is, and again, there has to be a reason, but I haven't seen what it is, and I'm erring on the side of if you're not using it as much, but I'd noticed in some environments when you go to create an event, at one point it just started saying, oh, new event, and it would automatically go ahead and create a real-time one, and there was no option anymore for outbound or real-time. And that was in the same ones where outbound had disappeared, so that makes sense. But that's the other thing, is that it's not just about the outbound, but if you're still clinging on to events that are going to be outbound events for various reasons, you could lose that option as well.
Okay, thank you. So kind of confirmed my fear. I should wait with the deployment.
Yes,
but no, it feels good too that I wasn't worried for no reason at all.
No,
Perfect.
You're right to be worried, and I would avoid it if you can and find another way around it.
Will do. I will avoid it. And my second question was, I've tried to find something about this and made research, but I was wondering, because we have a lot of clients worried that when they, for example, if they have another module and they add on customer insights journeys and they start sending out a lot of emails, they're worried about the database capacity. And I've been trying to find where the emails are actually stored and how much it does affect.
So when you're saying email send outs, I think you're meaning basically I've got 500 people, I'm putting them on a journey, and the 500 emails that were sent out. Yeah, so it's the same as outbound. The data is not stored in Dynamics, so it is not using any database capacity for that. But that's the same as outbound as well. So the emails, the actual emails you create, as in design, those are stored in Dynamics, but the actual emails that go out to the recipients, they are not stored in Dynamics. They are stored elsewhere that you can get access to, but you have to use Microsoft Fabric to report on, but the data itself isn't in there.
Okay, perfect. Very clear answer.
But,
thank you so much.
But Amey, come on.
Installing Dynamics Marketing does smash your storage, because the stuff that you install in terms of configurations. So in terms of I think it uses a lot more file storage than anything else. Because it's got a lot of web resources, custom controls. So storage in terms of the solution does use up quite a lot. More than most of than a sales or a service, from what I've seen. So if it's storage is on the mind, that's probably more of a concern for me than it's not like a click dimensions where you have email send records and your databases. I know, I just let it run. It's terrible and too much. But yeah, it's much different to that, like Megan said, and that's one of the nice things they've done, I guess. But yeah, the solution itself is quite meaty, and there is some rogue stuff that happens, something like a random table, segment activity sometimes, in some customers goes through the frickin' roof for a couple of months. So there is some wild stuff, but email sends is not your problem.
Okay, that's good news for me.
Cloudflow, somebody has written a very good blog post on the fact that your cloud flows you'll go into it one day and you'll see maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of them, because every time you've got a journey, then it basically will create a flow in Power Automate. So Amy's got a really good post. Don't know if you have the link that you can share.
I can find it.
Maybe. But that one will basically give you a good process that you could set up that would basically take those flows and get rid of them. Because once the journey stops, then that's it. It's not needed anymore. But for example, I've got one client, they've got 245 cloud flows, but in dev or sandbox, and then in production, there's like 2,500, something like that. So it will make a difference. And it's also a bit confusing or jarring for somebody that doesn't realize that and all of a sudden looks at it and sees CXP underscore blah, blah, blah. So yeah, have a look at that if you're not already aware that is something. And Amy's put a link in the chat for that. Okay.
I wasn't. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Not a problem. Any other questions from anyone? Did I see that you had already gone and tested that readable event ID?
Yes, I did.
And it worked.
It fucking works.
Awesome. And you tried it with like 2 different ones, and it.
Yeah, I got 2 forms. I submitted one. I checked the form linked. I submitted that one out back to the old one with the URL. Submitted it. Boom, boom, boom.
That is awesome. So, and I'm going to say her name again because she didn't correct us, but Arzu, that was her question. So hopefully that gives you the answer, or at least something to be looking at in terms of being able to have multiple language pages, but use the same for the same event. Are you going to do a blog?
Well, I feel like I've just done like a little sneak preview, haven't I? But yeah, I probably should. I'll add it to the list.
Do it. You need a blog. Do it.
I do.
For the newsletter.
You want something for the newsletter?
Some weeks I'm like, somebody please blog for me. All right.
If it leaks, I know who's done it.
Yeah, if JP comes up with it, then we know he's gone off and set up his own blog. So no extra questions yet. So yes, I love a bit of waffle to get a question. Robert, if you are still enabled.
Hello, I'm still able to unmute. Yeah. So yeah, this is about web tracking, and I've been looking at your blog to make sure I got it all set up. But yeah, it was working with Outbound. It's obviously I presume different script anyway. So we've switched the scripts over to the real-time one. And I've been testing it and it's not been working. So we found that for some reason the toggle switch for web tracking on the individual forms wasn't there, but we've found a kind of a workaround to be able to add that on. So we've enabled it for the forms that I've tested, but it's just not working. And then like our developer reached out to Microsoft and got a response saying that leads aren't supported for web tracking, only contacts. But I mean, didn't really seem right. And then the other response was that it would only track after the form's been submitted, like, which I thought was kind of defeats the point of it, really. But so I didn't know if you could shed any light on what I should look into to get this web tracking working, because it was really useful in Outbound.
So a couple. Should I go for it, Amy? So
you are the pro on this.
So a couple of things, and I'm just trying to open my environment, and of course it's just sitting there spinning. I'm trying to look at something, but I think there's a setting on the domain level, just in terms of when you say about your forms not being set to that. I thought they added something.
There is a setting on each domain to say allow tracking or something.
So does that need to be enabled, and then that enables all the forms as default, or is that separate to?
I don't know if it makes it default, but I think it does affect it not working.
I'm not seeing it on my domain though, Amy. I see form pre-fill, but the web tracking I'm not seeing as an option. I thought that they had added it. Oh no, it's on the form settings. Sorry, I know it's somewhere.
And that's just a default, right? Yes. Or it's not an allow, it's just a default.
It's just a default. So on your form settings record for your marketing form defaults, you should, and it was added after the tracking, so it might have been a bit like out of sync, but on there you've got a default of web tracking on. So if that's not already done, I would turn that on. Now the way in which I understand it to work, and I am pretty sure I've seen it with leads, because when I do testing stuff, I usually use leads, and I'm pretty sure, yes, it does track for leads, but I will double check, Robert. I'm not discrediting support, but I am 92% sure it does. Sure that it does. The other thing, from what I understand, the way that it works is that if that toggle was turned on your forms for web tracking, someone submits it, then moving forward it should track. But the biggest thing is it won't start tracking people until, so anyone else that's in your database, until you send them an email with a link to your website and they click on it and then they end up going onto your site, because then that will put a cookie that lasts for a year in their browser. So
if they come in from Google and submit the form, we don't get they came from Google and jumped on 5 pages and submit the form. We don't get that anymore?
No, so you will get, I think you would get that they have, well, you would never get that they'd clicked on from Google unless it was
but they've been on like
straight on
6 pages.
Yeah.
6 pages on your website, then filled in a form. You don't get those 6 pages anymore, do you?
No, because it doesn't actually put the cookie in until later on. So, and it also doesn't have anywhere where it's necessarily tracking the anonymous visits like it did in Outbound. So, you know, with Outbound,
it doesn't use cookies anymore, does it?
No, that's what I'm saying. It does put a cookie for the web tracking. The pre-fill doesn't use cookies anymore. That uses context. But the web tracking uses cookies, and that puts it in at 365 days or something like that. So 2 different things. Pre-fill will only work if you send somebody something and they click on the link and they land on a page with a form, and then it will pre-fill. The tracking should work when you send someone an email, they click on a link and they then land on a page, or when they fill out the form, but only if the web tracking toggle is turned on for that form.
And it doesn't do anonymous tracking at the minute, or it does, but we don't see it.
Well, that's the thing, is it might be there underneath, but we can't see it because there's no one place to go like we could in Outbound. Robert, is this helping at all, or we just?
I might need to play it back though. So what we used to be able to see was anonymous traffic coming in, filling a form, and you'd see which pages they've been on. So you're saying that's not
doesn't seem to work like that anymore.
There's nowhere to go to even see that.
But isn't
if you want to go into Fabric? I think it's meant to look for lead and contact. We're both pretty sure it's lead or contact. There's nothing in the docs that says it's contact only, right? Not that the docs are great. But if I was a geek and into Power BI, I would totally be getting Fabric installed and going to look at the interaction data to see if the anonymous website tracking is there, and they just don't have anywhere to put it yet. Not that it helps you, but it was just a geeky tangent. That's what I'm thinking. I want a geeky tangent.
And just to clarify what you were saying about the form settings, that was the default. So look, default says no.
So into your settings area, and then
I can't see a web tracking bit.
Go into form settings in the settings area, and you should have an event form defaults and marketing form defaults.
Form defaults,
Make sure the marketing form defaults has that toggled, and that marketing form defaults is set default yes. Because I've seen it in some environments where it says no.
So the toggle is called default, right?
There's one for default, one for web tracking, I think.
Okay, I can't see a web tracking one. Yeah.
So form settings, marketing form defaults, and then there's a general section in the middle. So you've got the general tab, name, form type, and default.
Default,
And then there should be a general block underneath that says pre-fill fields and web tracking.
Okay, I haven't got a web tracking toggle there.
If you put God mode on, though, I bet it's there, because I've just gone into one of my environments. It showed up and then it hid itself. So there's a higher level setting. Because have you got like God mode level up? If you God mode it, I think it's there.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, you don't have God mode. Gosh. Oh, your life is going to change when I give you this thing. Anyway, I shouldn't tell too many people about it, actually. So,
I will have a look. Well,
that's fine. I can ask my developer if I know where it is. I can sort of point him in the right direction.
So it is there, definitely. Like Amey says, she can see it.
But then it disappears. So I'm wondering if there's a higher level feature setting that's blocking it, because I've just picked a random environment of mine. It's a bit Wild West.
I can see it in the column view actually, and it says off.
Yeah.
So I could switch that to on. So that would when them work, but it won't do the same as outbound.
The fact it's hidden to me says there's something else in your environment that's not set up right, or else it wouldn't be hidden, right? Okay, yeah, so even you turning it to yes, I think there's something else that's not right.
Okay, I'll get the team to look into that then. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
I'm going to add the ribbon. Sorry, I'm going to add the ribbon debug to see if I can find out what's causing it to show or hide. Sorry. So, Robert, we might come back to this. We like to troubleshoot on the job.
I love geeky tangents.
Diego is next.
Diego, I can answer this question, but I will let you ask the question first because I appreciate you asking. Your mic is enabled for you to unmute and ask.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Thanks for letting me participate. So
thank you for participating.
The question is very simple. We have to install the outbound marketing, or in 1st of July there will be gone.
You don't have to do anything to uninstall.
No.
Install is like removing from when you I don't know, you update the outbound marketing, there is the option to remove outbound marketing. We have to do it, or
you don't have to at all. So it's not a big bang kind of switch off. So there has been a bit of an update that it's not quite the world is ending on the 30th of June, which is nice, but also frustrating. I'm like, oh, rip it out. So the remove outbound marketing will not happen by automatically. They have apparently got some telemetry in the background that's tracking how much you're using it. And if you are not using it, I think they might remove it for you. But if you still have stuff running, nothing's going to change. So you'll come in on the 1st of July. Everything is the same, except all your existing, like if you've got customer journeys and Outbound Live, marketing forms and Outbound Live, they will continue to work for now. Okay? But you are you're playing with fire. You're dancing in the fire right now, okay? If you go and create new things or try to after 30 June, it's going to start stopping you. I don't know, you might have seen it on events already. When you go to create a new customer journey in Outbound, it's going to say, hey, Outbound is dead. You need to stop it. I think for a short time, you'll be able to dismiss, and then they're just going to go, stop it. Stop it. If you've applied for an extension, then I believe those messages will go away. But if you haven't applied for an extension, you're basically just waiting for them to say, no, enough is enough. But it gives you a chance to then see what is still running and what do I need to move. So it's quite a nice official cutoff. But yeah, things will keep working for now. Even, for example, segments will still work for a while, but they may eventually start throttling them or not updating them as often as they should. So still really, really, really ideally, you want to be at the point where you want to press that button to say goodbye to Outbound. You need to be cutting it off, like a toxic ex-boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever. That's what it feels like to me right now. But yes, no, it will not be the big bang explosion on the 1st of July, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you very much.
But it is a toxic boyfriend, a girlfriend.
I have another question. Can I do it? Yeah, it's because we haven't been able to connect with Power BI to get this email journey interactions. It's a premium license of Fabric mandatory. It's mandatory.
There is now another option, but it's a lot of freaking work. I will dig out the blog post because it's an available feature which they are not actively promoting in any way at all, and it's hidden in a rabbit hole, and you've got to go and find the docs. But it does exist.
Oh, thank you, Amey.
But it is a lot of legwork for you to do. You have to churn up the data. You have to process it all yourself. It's gross that it gets to the point where you're I think we should just buy the premium license. I will try and dig it out. I can't remember where on earth I found it. or when I last looked at it. I will try and do it whilst multitasking. But yeah, I was like, yeah, great, this is going to be awesome. And then I started looking at it and I was like, oh
no,
that's not nice at all.
Yep.
So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
So just on the multitasking, so I've been trying to have a look at that form settings thing for Robert in terms of, I guess the first thing would be, are you using the standard form settings form, or is it a custom one? Because that could obviously cause issues. Or has anyone customized that form in the past, in which case, I don't know if it was on this session earlier or earlier this morning, because I cannot remember, but we talked about sometimes Microsoft will push things out, and if you've got extra layers, in other words, somebody's done configuration on that entity and on the standard form, then that can hide things sometimes. So that's also an option, Robert, you might want to have a look at. There is a web resource that I'm trying to open and it just is sitting there spinning, so I can't get to it, but there is a web resource that is tied to that specific field. Don't know what's on it because I can't open it, but those are some things that I would look at. Make sure, has that form settings form, the entity form, has that been edited at all? Is there any customization on it? If so, that might need to be removed in order to do it, or in order to release the field. Yeah, it's probably something like that.
If you've added like custom fields, like to send notifications and stuff, like on Megan's blog post, add a field, change the setting, configure the notifications for the form, you'll have to remove the unmanaged layers, let the new updates come in, then put your layers back on top of it. I've had to do that for a couple of customers because the forms were like going like freaking wild. That and events. So that might be why as well. It might be that you're updating the field in the background, but something else isn't clicking because it's not done by the UI. It's a pretty good hunch.
Yeah. So there's a few things to look at, but yes, it has been spinning for 10 minutes to try and look at the web resource. Nice. So no idea.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome, not a problem. So you should be able to get to it. And then, the other thing I was going to look at, and I'm pretty sure, is leads. I will confirm, but I'm pretty sure when I was posting about it, is that I was doing stuff on leads. So yeah, that doesn't ring true for me at all about it not working for leads. So all right. And
I posted in the chat the link to how to
do
analytics. To how to do analytics without Fabric is the first link, and then God mode is the second link.
But please, the second link, please use with caution. This is a powerful tool. Do not share it with your users. If you are a user, keep this to yourself, please.
You're a super user for being here, but
yeah. Anyway, just use with caution. PSA over. So I think that's it on the questions.
Beautiful.
Any last words, Amey? Because this is our last one.
It feels a bit I don't know. I've not really come up with a speech.
We should have a part.
I feel like yeah. I mean, I feel like we've had lots of revelations today, so it's been fun. Yeah. It's been real and it's been fun.
It's been our last one.
Oh, what are we doing next?
Oh, so the next thing that we are going to do, so some of you, because I know that there are some loyal fans of this, and I say that with irony, but some people may know that Amey and I have done video recordings before where we've talked about like new stuff, like in the monthly releases, or things that we're working on, things that we've tried that didn't work, that have got bugs, just kind of to share information. And we really enjoyed doing these sessions. So what we're going to do is we're going to do those live. So we'll have the same sort of format where we'll do an early morning UK time session and an afternoon UK time session, so you could join either one. And so we'll do the same thing where we'll talk about it, but we'll basically open up the chat so you can share your comments, share your feedback, that type of thing. But that's what we'll focus on next. So we'll do that every month. And yeah, we'll talk about stuff that's recently come out or things we know that's going on that might be of use and might be of interest. So we'll start promoting that next week, and then hopefully you guys will see us on those calls. We've enjoyed it. Awesome. All right. Well, Amey, go to sleep.
Okay. Yes,
and everybody else, have a good rest of the day, and we will catch up with you guys soon.
Thanks, guys. Speak to you all soon.
Bye.